All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're tackling a question that, is pretty much on everyone's mind. What happens to our jobs as AI gets smarter and smarter? We're going to explore the future of human work in this new age. I mean, that's the big one, isn't it? If AI works, what do we do? As this technology just keeps getting more and more capable, handling things we thought only people could do, it leaves you wondering, where do we fit in a world where AI is doing so much of the work? Okay, so to really get a handle on this, let's start with the data. Because the numbers flying around about this topic, well, they can feel pretty overwhelming. And they paint a picture that's a mix of both deep anxiety and, maybe surprisingly, a little bit of hope. And the scale of this thing, it's just staggering. A recent IMF report found that nearly 40% of all jobs around the world are exposed to AI. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean all those jobs are going to just vanish. But what it does mean is that they're about to change, and probably in a really big way. And you know what? Employers are already getting ready for this. The World Economic Forum found that by 2030, most companies are expecting huge changes. Get this, 77% are planning to upskill their teams to adapt. That's the hopeful part. But 41% also expect to actually reduce their staff because of AI. So right there, you see that double-edged sword. There's opportunity, for sure, but there's also displacement. So yeah, the threat of jobs being cut is absolutely real. But here's the twist. Those same reports also say that this technology could create millions of new jobs, even while it's replacing others. So the future isn't some simple story of humans being replaced. It's way more complicated. It's a story of really radical change. Which actually brings us to a much deeper question. And this is where we need to go a level deeper. See, the real issue here isn't just about the technology itself. It's actually about philosophy. A lot of the anxiety we're all feeling is really rooted in how we've come to measure the value of work in the first place. You know that feeling? Like we're in this constant race against the machine? That we always have to prove our worth against some new algorithm? It's everywhere. But why? What is this race really about? What are the rules of this game we find ourselves playing? And this right here is the absolute core of the problem. For decades, we've basically defined good work using metrics where machines are always going to win. We're talking about speed, raw output, pure efficiency. And when that's the yardstick you're using, well, you inevitably start to see people, us, as just another tool in the system, a tool that can be compared to and eventually replaced by a more efficient machine. But we all know, deep down in our gut, that work is so much more than that. It's not just about getting a paycheck, right? For so many of us, what we do is tangled up with who we are. It gives us a sense of purpose, of community, of identity. And that's exactly why this whole thing feels so incredibly personal. Okay, so if those old metrics of speed and output are failing us, we desperately need a new way to think about this. Let's explore a different framework for work, one that looks for meaning beyond just the final result. The economist Henry George, he really captured this idea perfectly. He talked about a moral weight to human labor, the idea that there's value in the effort itself, in the responsibility you take on, in the very act of creating something. And that's just not something you can measure on a spreadsheet. And you see this idea echoing in other places too. In the Bible, for example, work is often framed as a kind of stewardship. The goal isn't just about maximizing output, it's about being faithful. It's about caring for the world, serving other people. The real meaning of the work comes from its purpose, not just its performance metrics. So when you start to look at work through that kind of lens, a completely different set of values comes into focus. You start to see that the truly human part of work, it's stuff like using your judgment, taking responsibility, really cooperating with people, and even having the courage to fail and then learn from it. It's all about creating meaning, not just cranking out products. Okay, so all of this brings us to our final and honestly most important section. If we start using this new way of thinking about value, then what's left? What is the work that will always be ours, that will always remain for humans? First off, let's be super clear about something. AI is an incredibly powerful tool. No doubt about it. It's going to take over the boring, repetitive tasks. It can help us with first drafts, brainstorm ideas, and organize massive amounts of data in a blink. It's going to handle the how for a whole lot of tasks. But, and this is the absolute key, here's the fundamental difference. An AI can follow a command perfectly, but it can't decide the why behind that command. It can't answer the big questions. Questions like, why are we even doing this? Who is this going to help? And maybe most importantly,
Who's responsible when it all goes wrong? Those questions, they are and will remain entirely human.
So here's the crucial mind shift we all need to make. We have to stop thinking about our future as just doing the work machines can't do yet, because that's a race you're eventually going to lose. The real future, the real opportunity, is what we can call the human imperative. And that's the work that humans must be responsible for, period, no matter what the technology can do.
And what is that work? It's the work of using your judgment when things get messy and complicated. It's the work of showing genuine care. It's the work of building real trust with the people you work with and the customers you serve. And maybe, above all, it's the work of taking the ultimate responsibility for the final outcome. That work, that is always ours. So I want to leave you with a question to really think about. Look at your own job, right now, your career. What's the part of what you do that isn't about speed or just cranking things out? What's the part that's about your judgment, about your sense of care, about your responsibility? What is the human imperative in your work? Because whatever that is, that's what makes you truly irreplaceable.